annual telethon that we've done, and we've been having a lot of fun down here at Tom's Drawing Board in downtown Rhinelander, raising money for your Oneida County Fair. You can call in and donate 715-420-1001 if you are enjoying what you're seeing, or if you just want to support the Oneida County Fair. It's a great family event for our county and for surrounding visitors that come to Rhinelander and to Oneida County to come check out the fair July 27th through the 30th. You just saw some videos from the Milwaukee Flyers who perform at Milwaukee Bucks games and big events across the Midwest, and we are going to have them up here in Rhinelander this summer for the Oneida County Fair, performing for all of the attendees of the fair for free shows. So you can come out, bring the family, and check out the Milwaukee Flyers. They fly, they tumble, they jump rope, they do everything, and 80% of it is in the air. So now, I want to just take a second and thank DJ from Walmart. Many of you know him, a longtime employee at Walmart, stopped in here and made a donation. So we want to thank Dan Peter for his donation to the Oneida County Fair to help support this organization and the organizing of your Oneida County Fair. Now, with me here, I have Erik, who is one of the organizers of the newest club in Rhinelander, the Rhinelander Curling Club, correct?
That's correct.
So tell us about the curling club. Have you curled before? What interested you in starting this group?
Yeah, no, I've never curled before. Totally new. I participated or spectated in a Bonspiel, they called it. They call those are tournaments for us normal people. They call those Bonspiels. Watched one of those at a club and thought it was pretty fun.
So had you been... You just went to watch. You didn't participate in those curling clubs?
No.
Now, I believe there's a Olympic or regulation-sized curling rink. What do they call it?
An arena.
An arena?
Yeah. So there's the sheets that it has. The length is the same.
Okay.
So they may have a 4-sheet or a 5-sheet arena where you would just be able to fit more teams.
And there's one in Wausau, I think?
Yeah.
Is it in Wausau or is it Schofield? Or
That's a good question. To be honest, I've not even been there before.
If anybody's watching this and knows curling, I just know that there was maybe a couple from Wisconsin that was in the Olympics, this past Winter Olympics, and they did really well in curling, and they took some of those like national headlines for making curling exciting. I don't know, curling is not typically rated with, let's say, hockey or speed skating. It's more of a low-key sport, you might say. But that kind of opens it up to more people, you would say?
Yeah. You don't have to be super fit or in shape in order to do it. You generally see curling from 25, 30 years ago, an old burly guy with a big gut and a cigar sticking out of his mouth, curling. So that's kind of where it came from, really, from in Scotland. That's what sort of interests me about it, is it's a laid-back sport. There's some finesse involved in it, similar to pool. It seemed fun to me. So yeah. I thought, why not? I don't want to leave Rhinelander to go do it. So what better way to start a club?
Yeah, the other curling sheet or rink, you would say, arena, that I've seen driving through Clintonville, Wisconsin. They have a rink there, arena dedicated to curling. So definitely Wisconsin has a history of curling in the state.
Yep.
And it's pretty cool that you'll be doing it here at Rhinelander. Where are you curling in Rhinelander?
The Rhinelander Ice Association. That's the hardest part, I think, starting up a club. First of all, I'm still working on... Initially, I just wanted to see if there was interest in the area. And we sold out all the registrants from the last curling event. And then this coming Saturday, we'll have another one. And that's about half full right now. So there's definitely interest. And
yeah, that's awesome.
I'm creating a entity in order to actually have a club.
Yeah, that's really cool. Tony, can you put up a picture or two for us to see on the feed here? There's a little bit of delay on the camera here, and we're watching it on the far end of the room here. So once that picture pops up, which probably already has for you folks watching at home. Okay, so we have some curling happening. This was at the last event that you held, the first event ever. And is just you organizing this event, or are there other organizers involved?
Well, there's about 4 or 5 other folks that are very good at curling. They've been doing it for 20 plus years down south. Living up in this area now, they have nowhere to curl other than Wausau, and a lot of times they don't want to drive the hour or whatever, so they're not on a team necessarily anymore. but wanted to be involved and to start up a new club. They were really excited about it and got involved. Without those guys, I have no idea how to organize learn to curl. I have no idea. I couldn't tell you the first thing about how to.
Because you yourself are learning to curl.
That's correct. Yeah.
Right?
So without those guys, it wouldn't happen.
So who are some of the people that are involved in that end of things?
Terry Gleason, Steve O'Keefe, Jeff Goodland, and Paul Schaefer.
So maybe some stars aligned, or what do they call the component?
Curling stone.
Maybe the stones aligned, you could say, to develop a curling club here in Rhinelander. Yeah, that's really cool. So how do you go about putting up a curling arena or sheet on a hockey rink?
That's been probably the most interesting part of the whole thing for me. I've learned a lot about it. It's very specific ice. A hockey arena is full of skate marks. They don't necessarily pay attention to the flatness of the ice. If you were to play on a crooked, warped pool table, that would be what it's kind of like playing a game of curling on a hockey rink. It's not flat at all. So in working with the ice arena and Brett over there, we shave the ice quite a lot to get it as flat as possible. What happens is the outside edges it creates a bowl. So, and when you're outside on the outside lane of the curling sheet, it always wants to go to the center. So we spent a lot of time trying to get that perfectly flat.
And use the Zamboni repeatedly to kind of get the ice in the right condition?
To try and get that minimized this time coming up, actually, Thursday, Friday, we're going to flood it several times on Thursday and Friday, right in the middle, try and get that in the middle to come up a little bit. After you get that perfected, I mean, you know, whether or not you get it perfected, you still have to pebble it. So what's interesting about curling ice is that it's actually not perfectly flat. It's got tiny little raised bumps. So we've got a backpack device that sprinkles water all over the sheet. You just kind of walk along and you sprinkle that water down and it creates these little bumps, and that's what the stone actually will ride on top of.
So it's not completely sweepy, and you're watching the Winter Olympics and you look at curling going on, it appears on the television that it's perfectly smooth, but that's not the case.
That's right.
It's bumpy ice.
It's bumpy ice.
Does that help you walk on the ice? You know, you don't wear skates or anything, so I always wonder, how do these people walk on the ice? How do curls walk on the ice so easily, at least seemingly so?
You can get a pair of curling shoes, specific curling shoes, and they'll be pretty grippy on the bottom, made for walking on ice. Not with a peg or anything, you know, but they're good rubber-soled shoes. And then the other foot has a slider, they call it, to be really, really slippery. So when you're casting or pushing off the stone, you need to slide on one of those feet. So you wear a different shoe or a different soled shoe on the other side.
So we talked about how you manage the ice and how that is going at the Rhinelander Ice Arena, typically used for hockey, skating, figure skating, now being used for curling. Obviously, the hockey lines and the crease and all these different markings on the rink are not the same markings you use for curling. Is there a better name for that?
Target. They call it, so I've learned that it's called a target.
Okay. Are there a lot of people coming to curling club with kind of amateur lingo, such as mine?
Yeah,
calling it a bullseye?
Pretty much everyone. I'm in the same boat, so don't feel bad.
So
I'm learning it all too.
So the target, you know, how do you set that into the ice?
Well, that's a little bit more involved. So we have to measure it all out and make sure that it's positioned properly. And then for in the fall for next year, we'll actually put a little coin underneath the ice and freeze that in there so that we have a center point. And then from that, we'll use sort of a compass, and we just scribe the line into the ice. Once we have those lines scribed out, and we only did it on the center target for our last event, you can paint it with like a chalk-based paint.
Okay.
That way we can remove it when we're done, because we can't have that on the ice permanently for the other events that the ice arena, you know, high school hockey and stuff, you can't have those on there.
So was there any amount of ice over the top of those markings?
So yes. After we put that chalk-based paint down, you lightly coat it with some water so that it's frozen down in there.
And then after curling is done, they take the Zamboni through it a couple of times and it erases it again.
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously this takes a lot of work and help from the manager of the ice rink. I know Brett Aylesworth up there, obviously been key to helping the curling club.
Very much. He's been extremely kind and open with his time. He's put a lot of time into it. I mean, during the weeks before those events, he'll be prepping the ice, working on it, shaving it, flooding it, shaving it, flooding it, doing all sorts of things. And we're all learning kind of at the same time. None of us have ever changed hockey arena ice into curling ice, so we're learning.
Yeah. So let's talk about some of the...
Viewer question.
Oh, yeah, viewer question. Excellent.
Is this the Northwoods team? Where can we come watch them?
Oh, can spectators come and watch the Lerner curls?
Absolutely, yeah. So as it filled up, I tried to encourage people to come and watch. Fortunately, at the ice arena, we've just got a whole bunch of bleachers there for watching hockey games, and it's perfect for watching the Learn to Curl. Even if you're not there to actually participate in the Learn to Curl, you can come and listen to the teaching portion of it is in the concession area where I'll just sit and talk, but then you can go watch everybody do that. In the fall, we'll actually try and hold a few bonspiels pending ice availability and such. Possibly hold a league for a month, maybe two.
So right now, this is just kind of the entry into the curling world for Rhinelander. You're organizing this club, but you hope to someday have tournaments, exhibitions, if you will.
It's tough because we've got that one facility, and so we have to share ice with everyone. And so whenever I can get some ice time, I'll probably hold a bonspiel, a tournament. I'll see about getting some of the other clubs in on it, so other teams come play against us all. It's going to be interesting as we all are pretty new to curling. We all need to practice and stuff, and the ice time is limited. So those learner curls are important to get everybody up to speed as to how, even just how to curl, how to cast the stone out, and
all the work that goes into it just to set up for practice time, I would imagine.
Yeah.
So you had one Learn to Curl, you keep mentioning, a get-together of people that want to learn how to curl, that are learning. You have some experienced curlers there, and that went well?
It did. We had 64 total people, 32. That's times 2 is 64, right?
I believe so. Can we run those pictures up again, Tony?
That was full. That's as many as we can handle in one session.
Okay.
Because you'd have 8 people per sheet, and we can run 4 sheets across the ice arena. And that was full, which was great to see. And that showed to me that, this is definitely worth something pursuing. At first, I wasn't sure, maybe 5-10 people would be curious about it, and it wouldn't really be worth going through all the effort and time, to do it. But boy, if we could get upwards of 64 people, that's definitely worth pursuing.
So you'll have another event coming up here before. Do they take the ice out at the Rhinelander Ice Arena?
May 20th, I think it's going to come out.
Okay, so you'll get one more opportunity to get in there and do some curling before the next season, you would say?
Yep. We'll end up hopefully, getting a few weekends here and there next fall before high school hockey starts. After that, in the spring, this time or so, we'll have probably every week we'll be able to do something. So it'll be like a short league, as best as we can muster here in the area, given we don't have a curling arena.
Yeah. So tell people where they can go get information about the Rhinelander Curling Club, what dates are coming up, that sort of thing.
Facebook, Rhinelander Curling Club, Facebook page. I'm on there managing that, and Steve O'Keefe is on there. He's from the Wausau Curling Club. Any questions, you can just message that. I'm on there, and I'll answer anything you got.
So Rhinelander Curling Club Facebook page.
Yep.
All right, Eric, tell us about the equipment that's used here. I'm looking at some of the pictures up on the screen. Obviously, we talked about the target, and I don't see any lines that really demarcate, one sheet from another. How do you know which lane to stay in? I don't technically know how wide each lane is. I would guess it's about 4 foot wide or something. Are there lines put down?
There typically would be, or if they weren't lines, it would actually be a physical lane where you'd have boards or wood or even concrete separating each lane, depending on the club that you'd go to. Here at the ice arena, we just didn't see any reason to put those lanes going all the way down from one end to the other.
You know what target you're aiming for.
Yeah.
You're shooting at that target. You
Exactly.
kind of just stay within your spot. I get it.
It's just double the amount of work that we'd have to put down, and then to scrape all that off afterward, it almost wouldn't be worth it.
So we talked about the stones. That's the device that it's like is it a marble rock? Is it a rock?
I don't know what it's made out of. Yeah, it's a rock.
When I was younger, my great grandma had a couple of these old curling stones on our porch, and they were made out of wood.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
those are maybe really old, but the granite, you said?
I think so.
How heavy are they?
They are between 40 and 50 pounds.
Holy moly.
A piece.
One person lift one of these up?
Yeah, yeah. For the most, yeah.
And they got a nice sturdy handle on them.
You generally don't. It's frowned upon if you pick them up when you're out on the ice,
Oh, okay.
because of course it'll bust up the ice if you
Right.
drop it.
So how do you move them around the ice then when you're not?
You kick them, push them around with your feet.
All right, so how many stones does each team get? Obviously, two teams play against each other on one sheet.
Yep. So there's 16 stones total, 8 per person or per team, four people per team. Sorry if that was a little bit confusing, but yeah.
So
there's
four stones per team.
8 stones per team.
8 stones per team. Okay, and then how many do you throw in one go?
All 8.
Wow.
So each team will throw 8. So there's actually 16 stones that would be thrown, and then you would switch ends.
Ah, okay. That seems like a lot of items in that target area. I suppose that's the point then, to bump each other's stones?
Yeah. So on each end, so you got half your team on one end, half your team on the other end. So you'd end up throwing those stones. I think maybe I'm wrong. You know what? I ought to check.
Hey, I see he's got his complete idiot's guide to curling
Yep.
here. We're going to make sure folks get the right information. But that's part of the fun here. You can come out to the Rhinelander Curling Club events and learn about curling, learn along with Erik and the other organizers, and get some advice from the professionals that are out there too.
My good friend Steve from Wausau Curling Club got me this book. They all signed it. This is my favorite
wonderful.
book that I've gotten in a long time.
Well, let's talk about, while you maybe digging up some information out of your brain, let's talk about the other item that you use. Aside from the stones everybody sees, is it called a broom?
Yeah,
Is this called sweeping?
it's a broom. Yep, and it's called sweeping.
That kind of
That's
gave
right.
me the idea that was a broom.
Yep. It's got some sort of fabric underneath it, It essentially takes, those pebbles I was talking about, where
Yeah.
it's a little raised bump on the ice. The idea is to polish that down a little bit, and that kind of, and what I learned at the Learn to Curl last time is you're not speeding up or changing the direction of the stone. You're actually just allowing the stone to go further than it would if you didn't scrub.
Okay.
Or sweep.
So those brooms, they look kind of like a mini push broom. Is that
Kind of.
kind of how they're designed? They're not designed like an up and down broom. So you're not doing this number.
No, you got to
You're
stand
kinda
to the
doing
side.
this number.
You want to be watching where you're going. You just scrub. There's two people, and you'd be sweeping one right in front of the stone, and the other one just ahead of that. And you got to go with the stone as it glides along. And the idea is to just get it to go a little bit further than it would normally, so that you can. It all depends on how it's thrown in the first place, whether or not you sweep. If it's going too fast, you might not sweep at all.
So one teammate, there's 4 people on a team?
4 people to a team. Yep.
Okay, so one person throws the stone, and you said you had a name for that.
Yeah, I wished I could remember all those.
Pitches the stone,
The
launches the stone,
yeah.
slides the stone.
I wished I could. If I had time,
So
I'd look
one
it all up.
person, let's say, throws the stone, glides the stone from one end. Yeah,
Ooh,
50-pound
so
stone.
that the name skip that there is. So there's a person on the other side from the person throwing the stone is called the skip.
Okay.
Curling genius.
Yeah.
He'll actually be at the target at the other end, telling the thrower where to put the stone.
Okay, and then the other 2 teammates are doing the sweeping?
Sweepers. Yep.
Okay, so you got somebody that's kind of like eyeballing up the target, one person throwing, and 2 other people sweeping. How do you determine who throws and who sweeps?
I do believe that. So initially you could just decide, but I do believe you all have to rotate through
Take
the
turns.
entire thing. Yep.
Okay, all right. Well, this is all very interesting. Curling here in Rhinelander, I would imagine that Rhinelander, now becoming the epicenter of curling in the area, you'll have a lot more involvement and people interested in coming to try this out from all around the county and the adjacent county. So this is really cool, Erik. So glad you had a chance to come in and talk.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me in here. It's kind of fun.
So if you have any questions about curling or the Rhinelander Curling Club, you can go on the Facebook page and check it out there. Like the page, you'll get some more information throughout the year and throughout the seasons to figure out when they're going to be down there curling. And if you want to go down and participate, there's still some slots to sign up for your next event.
Right at this time, we've only got, I think, about 14 signed up out of 32. So there's plenty of room.
Plenty of spots left. And if you want to just go,
Got a new pastime.
yeah, I might have to check it out. And if you want to go down just to watch, comfortable bleachers down there at the Rhinelander Ice Arena. You can go down and just check it out and see if maybe curling is right for you. So anything we didn't cover here about curling? I think we...
The social aspect of it.
Yeah, go on.
It's a big part of curling, all the way back down into the foundation of it, you know, however many years ago that it was founded or created in Scotland. It's about camaraderie. It's about your friends hanging out. You play a match. You sit afterwards. You sit together with your opponents even and drink beer.
I was just going to ask, is there a beer drinking component to curling?
It's a big part
See,
of it.
that'd be a big factor for me to come down, you know? Throw stones, drink some brews.
Yep.
That sounds like a good time in Wisconsin right there.
It is. It's a lot of fun. And, you know, the Vodspiel I was at, they even did, they had actually, it was in Minnesota. They had a team from Wisconsin. I can't remember where all the other teams were, but they were from around Minnesota. They had a costume contest afterwards. So, I mean, after the match was over, we hung around for 2 hours, 3 hours, and they had a costume contest. It was a riot. It was a lot of fun.
That's awesome. Well,
You gotta know how to skate.
no, you don't skate.
Yeah, you
Just
Trusty
walk
boots.
around on your feet. Yeah. Do people fall?
yeah, it happens. You got to be careful.
There's no other equipment you wear, though?
No, people under, you know, young children or whatever, we would encourage you obviously wear a helmet.
Sure.
Just in case you do fall. But yeah, it you know, it has its risks.
Ice is slippery.
Ice is
We
slippery,
didn't know,
yep.
folks. Yeah. So that's really cool. Once again, go check out the Facebook page, Rhinelander Curling Club, and that's really awesome. Something new to do in the area, and go on and check it out. See if maybe curling is right for you. If you're looking for something fun to do, something new to do in the Rhinelander vicinity. Thank you, Erik, for coming down to talk about curling with us. If you enjoyed Erik's interview here, you enjoy looking into the curling world, call in right now, 715-420-1001, and make a donation to your Oneida County Fair, or use the PayPal link to make a donation as well. We will be here until 10 o'clock tonight, so you could still have time to stop down. Tom's Drawing Board, if you're in downtown Rhinelander, grabbing a bite to eat. If you're in town running some errands, pop on in, see what's going on down here. We've got some videos and some live music and some more entertainment coming up this evening. Plus, at about 6:30, 6:45, we are going to make some really special announcements about this year's live music entertainment at the Oneida County Fair, July 27th through the 30th. You are not going to want to miss it this year. We got some great live music to see Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So stick around here at the Oneida County Fair Telethon, and we will catch up with you in just a few minutes. Tony, you got some history lined up for us?
Sure thing.
So we're going to cut here to connecting the dots video if we have a spare one to throw up there. And pretty soon here, we're going to get Kayla from the shop next door here. KC Refillery, is that what we're calling it now? Okay, formerly known as the Kindred Cottage. And Kayla hopefully going to be down here very soon to talk to us about her shop and about the sustainability of, you know, getting products at your home for use. So